Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? As we went off air Tuesday, like 6:02, there's the tweet. Saints signed Kwon Alexander, because of course they did. Kwon tweeted it out. Birthday lit AF right now. God did it again. Yesterday, Tuesday, was Kwon Alexander's birthday, and he found out on his birthday that the New Orleans Saints were re-signing him. Actually, if you look at the timestamp on that tweet, can you pull that up again, Paulie? It's 5:56 p.m. Our show ends at 5:50. Literally 10 seconds after we went off air, Kwon Alexander tweeted that. But the New Orleans Saints have Kwon Alexander back in the boat. Maybe the worst kept secret of this offseason was Kwon Alexander rejoining the New Orleans Saints. They had obviously been in contact throughout the offseason as Kwon was going through his recovery. And it led to this moment when they finally felt the need and that he was healthy enough. And Kwon Alexander now has officially rejoined the New Orleans Saints. If you are wondering how you should feel about Kwon Alexander rejoining the Saints, how about you let All-Pro linebacker Demario Davis let you know how you should feel when he tweeted, "Mood," with 10 exclamations, "Let's go," with a bunch of fire emojis and a picture of he and Kwon Alexander from this past season. If one of the best linebackers in football is fired up about this, you and I should be fired up about this. And let me remind you also that Kwon Alexander played in just 7 games for the New Orleans Saints in 2020. It's not like he's this long-standing vet with the team that everybody loved. Dude got traded here from San Francisco in November, played in 7 games, tore his Achilles, unfortunately, on that Christmas Day game or during that Christmas Day game against the Minnesota Vikings. But clearly, he is beloved in that locker room, and this makes so much sense. On the field, obviously, the Saints mostly play 2 linebackers. It's Davis and Kwon. That's largely what they do. They run 2 linebacker sets. So you have 2 guys that are both 3-down linebackers that are physical enough to play the run and athletic enough to play the pass and make plays out in space. So this makes a ton of sense for that very obvious reason. It also allows a guy like Zach Bond, and I will also talk about Pete Werner in a second, but Zach Bond, last year's 3rd-round pick, who many of us were hoping would take a big leap forward this year, might still be able to do that, but now there isn't this giant necessity of him to win the starting will job, because if Kwon Alexander's healthy, he's that guy. Bond was at Wisconsin an edge rusher. That's what he did at Wisconsin. It's what he's best at. It's not to say he won't ever become an inside linebacker in the NFL, but right now, that's the thing he's really good at. And this might be a year where you need that in particular. Trey Hendrickson isn't here anymore. You know that you've got Cam Jordan. You're really hoping that Marcus Davenport takes a step. You've also obviously got Carl Granderson, who they're very high on, but because you're thin on the interior, it's my contention that we're going to see Peyton Turner kick inside and play a lot at maybe a zero technique or as a defensive tackle. And if that's the case, then you need another guy to come off the edge, and maybe that allows Zach Bond to do that. I guess my point is it gives you more options with what to do with Zach Bond. And then, of course, it lets you take it slow with Pete Werner because he's a rookie, and I wouldn't love the idea of throwing a rookie out there to be a day 1 starter. Now, could he eventually be that? Sure. But I also would prefer to have a veteran that I know can be that guy until there's a necessity of seeing Werner take that step. Financially, this makes a ton of sense also. You're looking at look, Kwon Alexander was never going to play. What was his number? It was $13.4 million. He was never going to play this season at $13.4 million. This season and next, he had giant cap figures with no dead cap space. It was always going to come to this, that they were going to work a new deal for Kwon Alexander, however it played out. Now, as unfortunate as the injury is, financially, it ended up being a little bit of a benefit for the Saints because it kind of allowed them to get a much better deal for Kwon Alexander than they would have otherwise had he stayed healthy. So we haven't seen the structure of the deal yet, but it's worded that he can earn up to $3 million. So if it's an incentive-based contract that allows him to get up to $3 million, okay. That's a huge financial win if Kwon Alexander stays healthy. And that is really the only singular question. Can Kwon Alexander stay healthy? And I don't have the answer to that question because Kwon Alexander is an injury-prone football player. That's not an unfortunate label. That's the truth. As a senior in high school before he showed up at LSU, Kwon Alexander tore his ACL. As a freshman at LSU, Kwon Alexander broke his ankle. Started for a couple of years, goes off to the NFL, and in 6 NFL seasons, he has had 1 year where he played all 16 games. That was 2016, his second year in the league. He has had knee issues. He has had the pectoral issue. He had an ankle issue last year in San Francisco. And then, of course, tore his Achilles in New Orleans. He's only 27 years old. He's not an old player. Like, Kwon Alexander has plenty of gas left in the tank. It's literally just a matter of, can he stay healthy? If you have watched at all on his social media all this offseason, Kwon Alexander has pretty consistently posted videos of himself performing different agility drills. And he looks awesome. He don't look slowed at all. Now, no pads on a field in turf shoes is a little different, obviously, than playing linebacker in an NFL game. But the Saints wouldn't have signed him if they weren't sure he was ready to roll right now. And it looks like that is the case. So if he is healthy and gives you 16 games, it is an absolute steal to get a starting linebacker the caliber of Kwon Alexander at an incentive-laden deal that could be worth up to $3 million. My sincere hope, Saints have to pay every dollar of that $3 million. Kwon Alexander stays healthy, and you have one of the best linebacker tandems with Demario Davis and Kwon Alexander, who love playing together also. Keep him healthy. That's a giant get. We knew it was coming. We knew it was an inevitability. But with so many losses on the defensive side of the ball in particular leading up to this season, it was really nice to get that injection of life, that boost with the news of Kwon Alexander officially back now with the New Orleans Saints. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.